Hello there, beautiful people. Welcome to this full moon tarot reading for March. There was a wonderful eclipse for this full moon that just took place, and just did a reading and with a group of lovely people who helped me understand these cards deeper than I could have gone on my own, that's for sure. 3 cards, really interesting, and I think quite simple on the base level, but we're always going to dive a little bit deeper and see if we can't make these stories more rich and more personal at the same time. The first card was this reversed sun, which seems kind of apt with an eclipse energy, when the light is being eclipsed in some stellar body there. This is the eclipse of the moon, because it's a lunar eclipse that took place. So the sun reverse was the first card, and this 2 of Wands and the reversed Fool were the other 2 cards. And so let's look at this reading. We'll try and dive into some of the general meanings, and as well as the more maybe a few specifics to make this more interesting. And as always, what I would encourage you to do with this reading, if you want to make it more rich for you personally, is to make it as personal as possible. So see if you can't understand whatever is being said here and relate to it on a very personal level. It's great to look at the global story and how it might relate to what's taking place in the world today as well, but making it personal is really what it's all about. So this sun reversed story is, it's usually, I see it as well, hey, the light is being shone upon something. The light is there for us to receive. The light is abundance, it's transformational, it's uplifting, it's inspirational. And there's a potential, or there's a chance with the Sun card to experience a higher level of how we are reflectors, channelers of light. And channelers of light is very sort of broad and general term. What this looks like on a very personal level is very simply us being ourselves, sharing the wisdom, the knowledge, the truth, the love, the passion we have for life, sharing that joy, passion, love, truth, wisdom with the world through who we are and how we share ourselves with the world. And primarily we have to see this inside of ourselves, so we can't share what we haven't seen. We can't be what we haven't known. So we have to know the light coming through us. We have to see it. We have to recognize that we are this reflection of light. We are this reflection of God, if you like, and this is the truth of us as essential. This is the essence of all human beings. But do we feel it? Do we know it? Do we see it? Do we recognize it? And part of that knowing, recognizing, feeling experience, making this godlike light, sun-like energy personal, is about seeing ourselves, first of all. It's about seeing how the light comes through us, or is in us, what it shines on, how we as very individual personal beings get to receive that wisdom, how we get to see it, how we look at ourselves and get to understand ourselves, get to comprehend who we are, how much of the shadow we're willing to shine a light on. The shadow is just the resistance that we have to see the light that we are. So how much of the shadow is being seen? How much of our shadow are we willing for the world to see? That's another story, but that's all part of this reverse sun story, because it's about being seen. And whether we have a challenge about the world seeing us because we're afraid of 50 million judgments, or we have a challenge to actually see ourselves because we're afraid of the same judgments, but inner ones, that we have towards ourselves, it's part and parcel of the same resistance that we have to be our more authentic selves, because that authentic self was there at our birth. It's that child that's in this picture, right? And this child is put up on high because that innocence that we once knew, that innocence just ready to be joyful and love life. Why? For the sake of it. Because why not? Because we don't have to have reasons to love life when we're a child. It's about finding that essence inside of us. How can we love our life? How can we, we always give ourselves so many reasons why our life isn't lovable, why we aren't lovable, and yet there are just as many of why life is lovable and why we are lovable and why we can see ourselves and not be afraid, why we can look at who we are and not fear what we see. And this is key. This is key to maybe what's going on in the energy of the world in this full moon. This is key to what the message is all about. It's about getting in contact with that innocence, that purity of a child that just wants to sit and love and feel joy for everything at every available opportunity. But the adult inside of us has decided, no, we don't do that. That can lead to all sorts of dodgy things like disappointment and rejection, and so we just can't go to those high inner places. Whereas the real adult inside of us should be saying, yeah, like, I've fallen flat on myself, I've been rejected, I've felt a disappointment 1,000 times, and I'm still here, and I'm still okay, and I have some tools to deal with that, and I can carry on choosing this joy of this childlike passion for life if I want to live in it. And is that who I want to be? And so this card comes up and it asks that real question. You know why you're here. You know what your purpose is. It doesn't have to have details. Oh yes, I want to be this type of person working in this detailed work, and I want to do precisely that and that and that and that and that. And that's my mission. No, that's not the mission. The purpose is an overall one. Take a step back, look at the bigger picture. Your purpose is something a lot more simple, and probably 1,000 million people are going to relate to your purpose and call it their purpose with the same words, or maybe slightly different, but pretty much the same thing. Why? Because the purpose of why we're here is to be that reflection of light. And I can say that to you, but you've got to find that inside of yourself. And finding that inside of yourself is about questioning. It's about taking a step back. It's about being authentic and honest. And it's about recognizing what you're really passionate about and not fooling yourself. Don't tell yourself, hey, yeah, you should do what you're not really passionate. No, do what you're really passionate about. You might have to do the odd job like washing up and a few other, mundane tasks in your life that you find it difficult to get passionate about. And there's always going to be a bunch of those. But make your life primarily about what brings you joy, and make those choices fundamentally about that, and make those choices as often as possible, because this is not just about being clear about what our intention for our life expression is, or what our deeper meaning, what the deeper meaning and how we connect to our mission, what that actually is. It's also about, hey, there are certain things that we feel we have a choice about, but in the bigger picture you don't. In other words, if we choose to go against our heart, if we choose to live our life not aligned with our truth, then there's going to be consequences, and those consequences are going to look like a series of uncomfortable and conflicting type continuous relationships with the world and with ourselves, and we will feel that conflict, and it won't feel good. Not all of life needs to be conflict free. Not all of what we do needs to feel good, because some of what doesn't feel good because of our judgments, and some of our work has to be about changing the judgments about what is great and what isn't great, so that we can just get on. It's like those little chores that we've told ourselves we're not passionate about. Well, tell yourself that little chore is a fantastic opportunity for something amazing. Go on, tell yourself, dare to believe something differently, and in that choosing to believe something differently, we can align even the things that we're not passionate about, and we can get passionate about them. a lot of the choice we have in about changing our lives and making our lives more aligned with our heart comes with changing our belief about what is right and wrong, and becoming clear that it just because something doesn't look aligned with our mission statement, because we think it needs to look like this, that's not exactly true. Take a step back. Our mission is going to involve lots of mundane frivolities as well as lots of deep-seated, profound, real actions. And then the Fool comes up and says, hey, are you ready to step in again, or step off that cliff, make that jump, have that leap of faith? Are we ready to have faith in choosing something that is more heart aligned? Are we ready to have faith that we fundamentally know, because of that knapsack in the back, we know why we've come here, with the sun is backing us up. The sun has always backed us up. It's always been there behind us so that it can come through us and we can be a channel of it. That is the essence of why we're here. However we choose to communicate and voice that truth. And the details of what it looks like are going to vary depending upon where we are in our life's journey. But that essence and that ability to align with what fundamentally looks like a simple truth, because it's not complicated. The truth and the passion of this child has been covered up with complexities. Yes, but I'd like to do that, but. Take a step back away from all the buts. Ask yourself, hey, why am I here? You don't even need to say, hey, how can I do this? You don't even have to know what it is that you want to do. And this came up in our conversation, that, hey, it's not about just jumping into something new because, hey, I want to do this, so I've got to jump into that, I've got to go and do these sort of things. No, wait. Those judgments of, I want to do this, I want to be this light, so I must, blah, blah, blah. Some of that is a conditioned story. Some of that is not exactly aligned with our truth. And so we need to just step back and sit in and sit in that resonance of vibration of knowing what our deeper passion actually is. Sit in that resonance and see what life spotlights in front of you. Don't think that you already know, because we probably don't. This is a reset and a kind of an eclipse has a little reset type energy, and when you've experienced this card 1,000 times, when you've jumped into the tarot and those experiences, you've taken a million leaps off a million cliffs as the Fool, with a million different levels of faith. When you've done that 100 times or a million times, listen to me exaggerating, when you've done that many, many times, recognize that, hey, it doesn't mean that you don't need to question what you think you already know, because the child has been covered up with a lot of knowing and a lot of knowledge, and a lot of fear as well is aligned with some of that knowing, and that child still sits there knowing that it's always going to be okay, knowing that that part of us which purely resonates with the simplicity of who we are can sit with that resonance. And you can wait. You don't have to actively look for a cliff to jump off. Wait and see which path is being lit up for you. You are going to have to walk. You are going to have to get over any resistance that you might have in order to may take a step forward in your life. But don't think you know what that is. And connect with something simple. Don't pretend it has to be super complicated, because I don't think it does. The paper trail of joy is a step-by-step process. So be willing to see what is lit up, what that paper trail, what that path lit up by the sun looks like, even if it's something very simple, even if it doesn't seem explicitly related to the end result which you desire. These are all complexities. Step back, get the general picture, remember that general picture, align with the vibration of that general picture, expect for your life to be lit up in exactly the path that you need to take, be willing to take that first step, take it, and then see what happens from then, and then repeat. Rinse and repeat again and again and see what happens. There's a bit of a reset energy. There's the sun is has been shining on shadow for a long time, and it's time to let go of that and just reconnect with that innocent light inside of us. Doesn't mean you can't stop doing your shadow work, but stop looking at shadow. Start looking at the vibrations that we need to be sitting in right now, because this is going to highlight where we need to be walking in our life, and that's going to be the richest paper trail of joy that we all want to jump into. I hope you have a fantastic full moon, guys, and this energy is going to be with us for a while, so enjoy it. And yeah, I'd love to hear your comments if you have any, and thanks to all those who joined my group earlier. And if you want to, just send me an email. I'll make you part of that emailing list, and I'll share the link for everybody every full moon. Much love to you all.